a connector off the top, because you can reuse that top connector for a battery project whenever you want one. So I generally don't throw them away until I've ripped them apart. So I'll rip them apart and see if I can find one that's got the...
Hey guys, sitting in the shop this morning and sitting here listening to the Kenwood twins. You know, we have the R599D and the T599D. And I want to go ahead and take a look at that transmitter and see just what the problem was that was experienced in this. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the transmitter off, take it over to the other bench. We're going to crack it open and take a look at it this morning. Okay, we'll go ahead and get the screws out of this. Normally I don't show this, you know, taking up your time watching me unscrewing things. So. But anyway, I made a comment in my last video, number 196, about the 10K subs and 2019 projects. And I think a comment in there made a lot of people worried and kind of go off the deep end. I made the comment about limiting the amount of repairs that I take in. And I want y'all to know that I did say limiting, not taking in as many. And the reason for that is I work 50 plus hours a week at a public job. This shop is not the breadwinner in the family, and we do not make a lot of money out here, believe it or not. In fact, we have done a lot of repair work on charity to help the people out that really couldn't afford to go any further. And you know, and that's one of the things I like to do, is help people. And sometimes I go a little bit to the extreme of doing it, but you know, that's what it is. Yes, I am going to still continue to take repairs in, but not as many. And what I'm doing here is go ahead and get everything off so we can get in here and inspect and see just what has happened. Now Dino said that the radio popped and quit transmitting. So we're just going to look for things. Now I've done been in this radio before and I found an issue, and I went into it and left one out. Got it back working, and I'll show you just what I found. But we still want to make a good assessment of anything that could be, you know, potentially wrong or bad in the radio. But to get back what I was saying, yeah, I just had to cut down a little bit, because a lot of times I only get Saturdays out here in the shop to work on stuff, and that includes creating videos for you guys and getting the work that needs to be done out here taken care of. And you know, plus I get a lot of locals. As you've seen in the shop tour videos, there's boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff in here to be repaired. And there's some stuff that's been in here quite a long time, which was those part of those real doozies I was talking about. You know, and it takes time to work on stuff like that. But a couple of years, I'm going to be retiring from work, and that'll give me lots of free time to spend out here in the shop and work on stuff, and then can probably start back taking in all those repairs instead of spending 50 plus hours a week at work. I could spend 40-50 hours a week out here in the shop. And that will help a whole lot. You know, someone said, well, won't you just quit your job and do this full time? Like I say, I'm very close to retirement. In fact, with the way things are looking, I'm probably going to end up taking early retirement in about 2 years. And then maybe I can depend on, you know, a little bit of revenue from YouTube, which isn't a, you know, a great big deal. Revenue from Patreon and repairs here in the shop, and still get my full retirement. Okay, we got all the covers off. We can get in here and see exactly what's going on. So we're taking a quick look around inside just to see if we see anything that's you know, arced or burnt or whatever. You know, make sure you have no power applied. Everything's unplugged. Everything's been bled off. We don't have any voltages. You know, we are dealing with some high voltage inside this PA compartment. And usually when I get a problem like this, first thing I'll go to is inside this PA compartment. Now, why is that? Well, like I said, you have high voltage, and you have a fan in the back that's pulling air through this compartment. I don't know if you ever took old TVs apart back in the day, and you look around and around the yoke of the picture tube, you just see dust everywhere, and it's cause, you know, you got charged particles and uncharged particles. And one of the places inside this radio where you have that same effect is around this neutralization capacitor. And the reason why it's such a problem in this radio is that this bracket around here is ground. This shaft through this variable capacitor is charged. There is high voltage on that. Never reach down like this and try to tune this, because if you do, you're going to get a wake-up call. That is high voltage on this capacitor shaft. And you can see there's the wire right here that's coming over to the main capacitor, and it's connected right to the bottom of this. So when that happens, you got dust coming in, and it's being formed right around this shaft. Now, when I took this radio apart and started looking at it, I found this big glob of black, hairy-like substance with a little bit of grease mixed in with it. Now, if you got something that goes from here to here, you are causing a short. It is going to short out the voltage on this capacitor. And I still have not cleaned it real good. When I found that, I pulled it out with a pair of needle nose pliers. I powered the transmitter up, and it loaded up, and that was as far as I went on it. And I said, well, we now know what the problem was. And I wished I would have waited, but you know, with the anticipation and the excitement, I just had to go ahead and look at something. I didn't even grab the camera that day. But you can still see it's still dirty around there, so that needs to be cleaned up real good. You can see that little bit of fuzz still sticking off right there. So we're going to get this took apart and cleaned up. And we'll start by removing these 3 little screws on the top. They are tiny, so be careful with them. You drop one of them, they'll be hard to find. Now what this is the neutralization capacitor. Okay, that's 2 here on the front, holding the front of the bracket on. Again, you may be wondering, why did I go to this area to start with? And it's just from experience of what to look for. It's not that I'm intelligent or smart or anything like that. It's just from, you know, when you walk on stuff for so long, you just automatically know places or problems to go look for. Well, next thing I want to do is go ahead and remove the tubes. Never pull on the glass. I'm just using the glass to rock it, and I'm pulling on the base of the tube. If you find it a little tight, hard to get off, you can just put a screwdriver right underneath it and give a little pry up on it. And I can tell you these are fitting in the socket great. Make sure when you pry up, you're prying up on the base of it. Now we can get down here and get a better look at this capacitor. And there's a close-up look at it. So what do you think, guys? Looks like we found our smoking gun. You can see all that stuff still around the shaft up there, the capacitor, and look down in the plates. Yes, that is very dirty. And again, you know, dust and high voltage does not go together. So we're going to have to get this cleaned up. And we got the old soldering iron heating up here. See how good this wire is attached. Now, that's one end. See if we can get this big glob off. And there we have the capacitor out. And we can get down here and give it a good cleaning. Alright, all we're going to do is give this thing a good rinse and all. Get a brush. Give it a good scrubbing. Gotta remember, high voltage stuff has to be cleaned. That sure looks better than before. Yep, I say she's nice and clean now. No more problems with dirt and grime on that capacitor. So now we can get this reinstalled. So not as an advertisement or anything, but I know people ask. I'm just using CRC QD contact cleaner to clean that up with. It's good stuff and it's real good for cleaning stuff, like I say. Not an advertisement for that product. Don't get nothing from them. Buy it down at your local Lowe's. But it works real good at cleaning. Well, I got this out. I'm going to go ahead and clean up that back wall. A little bit more dust. You can see that capacitor right there is coated in that same dust. So I'll go ahead and get that all cleaned out. Okay guys, everything is semi put back together. Got the fan back mounted on it. Put the PA compartment cover on, just a few screws in it in case we have had some other kind of problems. And I went ahead and tuned it up, and I'll show you the results. Get a look at the old MFJ watt meter, and we'll go to SIN, and look at that, full power out. No problems at all. And we can look at our spectrum analyzer there. Hoping y'all can see that. And you see that little issue there just popped up. You see it went wide. There it goes. Neutralization. Now, since we played with the neutralization cap, we definitely got to neutralize this radio. And that is a very simple process. All we need to do is switch over to 21 megahertz, which is 15 meters. We'll be into CW. Back in the back there's a switch that says transverter on. We'll turn the transverter switch on. This puts a negative voltage on the screens, takes the RF power off, and we're going to use an oscilloscope. Now they suggested using a highly sensitive voltmeter, but we don't have to do that. We can use the oscilloscope. So I got a adapter on the back. And I got a real good grade of coax going up to the oscilloscope. So let me reposition the camera and we'll do the neutralization on it. And we'll do that by reaching in this hole right here and turning that variable capacitor. Okay, I believe y'all can see that. I'll get my screwdriver inserted. It's that insulated screwdriver, by the way. We'll hit SIN. And we're going to turn this for minimum deflection on that scope. We want it as small as possible. And that completes neutralization. real simple to do on these radios. Well, so anyway guys, there you have it. The T-599D Kenwood transmitter is putting out power now. And you know, I've noticed a couple other issues that we got to do with it. And see if you can hear this in the background. When we go to transmit, that VFO capacitor is very, very noisy. So we're going to have to tear all this down and pull that VFO out and do some cleaning on it because it is extremely noisy. And I noticed it's a little tight too, and it's like I could feel some scratching into it. But we'll get this tore down in another video, and we'll look at some of these capacitors that may need to be replaced. You know, it's an old radio. I'm pretty sure some of the capacitors are starting to dry out now. But this VFO is really going to need to be poured out and serviced. And then we'll, you know, go ahead and pull everything else out, check all the tubes and make sure everything's right, clean tube pins, and just do a basic service and alignment on it, get everything back up and running. So all I'm going to do is rotate the VFO, and we'll look at the spectrum analyzer and you'll see what's going on. Okay. See right there, I haven't unkeyed the transmitter, it's just that it's lost oscillation. As soon as I touch the VFO, it comes back. Yep, okay, so we'll have to address that in the next video also. So anyway, thanks for riding along with me this morning to check out this old classic transmitter. And next video we'll, you know, go through this, and then we'll go through the receiver and check the speaker, make sure everything looks good in that, and we're gonna get this thing in the house and start making some contacts on it and see how it goes. Everyone have a great day, and you know, leave your comments down below. I always love hearing from you. And check out my links, check me out on Patreon, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye now.